Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial Thoughts. Welcome back to Millennial Thoughts with your girl Alicia. Thanks for joining us today. I have a special guest. Her name is Tiffany, and we're going to be talking about all things travel. She has a blog called Tiffany Travels, and I'm just reaching out to her to talk about it. She does a lot of solo traveling, group travels, and we're just here to talk about her experience with traveling, why she started, and what she sees in the future for it. So, hi Tiffany, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Is there anything else you would like to say about yourself before we start the
Well, my name is
interview?
Tiffany Hurd. I am a travel blogger or a content creator. My blog is called Sweet Tiffy's Inspirations. I started the blog about 3 years ago, and I absolutely love travel. And like Alicia mentioned, I do a lot of solo travel. I do group travel. I do family travel. I do all the above. So that's like kind of what I do on the side. And then my field or where my education or career is in social work. But I try to actually combine the two between social work activities and traveling as well.
Okay, well that's good to know a little bit of background. To start off, I was going to say how do you balance it? Like a full-time job, traveling, blogging. Like, how do you balance all of the things that you want to do, like on a day-to-day or weekly basis?
So if you're working a 9 to 5, obviously you're at work from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, whatever your hours are. And unfortunately, in America, we only get 2 weeks of vacation. But in order to stretch that out, I kind of either do like weekend trips, or let's say my birthday's in November. So my birthday's in the beginning of November, but let's say I'll wait till the end of November near Thanksgiving. And since we already get 2 days off, I'll combine that along with the week that I already have. So those are just some of the tips to kind of stretch when you don't have unlimited time working full time. And
Mm-hmm.
working on the blog in the evening time. Don't tell nobody, but there's sometimes I may turn on the computer at work. And obviously the weekend to do your blogging stuff related, writing posts and being on social media and different things like that. So you kind of have to do a little bit both. I always say if you're going to work for somebody, you also have to work on your goals as well, because eventually you want to be the one in the place to be in charge and have somebody work for you.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I've been seeing it a lot more now. Following travel is just like, oh, like America only gets like 2 weeks, and other people get like different days, and there's always holidays and stuff like that. So it's like we're kind of on the low side or whatever. But people always travel, so sometimes I guess it doesn't really bother some people, or they just take their days and keep it moving.
Yeah, I
So.
think I guess that's just the norm for us. We don't have a choice, but I meet people all the time and they're like, oh, I get 5 weeks of vacation. I get 3 weeks. I get 4 weeks. And I'm like, wow, I think I need to move.
Yeah.
Because I just love traveling, and I don't think 2 weeks compare. We have 365 days and only 14 of those days are dedicated to actual vacation time. That doesn't seem fair at all. But I guess as they say, life isn't fair.
Yeah, I guess. But, you can always have it work for you. So, what made you start like the blog, or like when did you start traveling? Was it the travel first or the blogging? How did you like get your started in it?
So I've been traveling since I was younger. I would go back to way when I was 2. My first trip was to Louisiana with my family. So my family does quite a bit of traveling. But I'll fast forward to when I started traveling, or when I got my first passport stamp.
Hmm.
My first passport stamp was to Ghana in West Africa. So that's kind of where I started my traveling on my own.
How old were
And
you? I
so
didn't know if you said that. Um,
when I was my first passport stamp, I think I was like 19 or 20, because I was
okay.
still in college. I was still in college at the
Okay.
time that I took that summer abroad trip with my school. And then fast forward from there, I started the blog about 3 years ago. And I kind of
Mm-hmm.
started that because someone asked me to write a piece for their blog. I had went to Thailand, and so they were like, "Oh, can you write a piece about it?" So I turned the piece into them, but I never heard anything back. And I think I followed up with them, no response. So I said, "Okay, well, this is going to be my first post on my own travel blog." So yeah, so that was 3 years ago. So that's how I started with the travel blog. And I also started because people always ask questions about where I'm traveling or wanted to follow me. So I feel like instead of answering the same question like 50 times, why not have a blog and then be able to send out links like, here you go.
Yes, come and see it. Come look at what I'm doing. And so, what? When was your first time that you solo traveled?
So technically I've solo traveled. Like, let's say when I went to Thailand, I went like a week with my cousin, and then she left and I was on my own. So technically that was solo travel. But I would say my real
Hmm.
big international solo trip that I started from beginning to end on my own was when I went to Colombia. So I went there for 10 days. I was in Medellin, Cartagena, and Bogota. So that was the real first solo trip.
I want to go to Colombia so bad. Like it's so beautiful over there that I see the pictures. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go. But so were you nervous? Like, were you like, oh, I'm excited to go by myself? Because some like it's becoming more popular, which I think people's always solo travel, but like it's becoming more popular and people are talking about it as much. Like I've never necessarily went somewhere by myself, but I went somewhere with like out with friends and not family. You know, I went on study abroad and different things like that. But like I've never been like somewhere by myself completely.
Yes, I think you're always nervous because obviously you're going by yourself and you're like, oh my God, what if something happens? Who am I going to talk to? So you're definitely nervous, but you're also very, very excited because you are venturing out on your own. And honestly, you have to figure it out. And that could be very scary. But Colombia was absolutely a wonderful place to start. Tips for when I solo travel. Although I solo travel, I absolutely love meeting new people and being around new people. So I didn't really feel alone while I was in Colombia. In Bogota, I hired something called a Colombian buddy. They're like tour guides, but they call themselves more of a buddy than a tour guide. And actually, I'm so glad I did that because there was some issue with my Airbnb while I was there, and me being in the country, not knowing the language, was absolutely worth it that I had booked my Colombian buddy. And then in Medellin, there is a large Black expat community. So there are a lot of people that look just like me from the States that are living there, owning businesses, teaching English. And so I really love that because it made being
Oh,
an expat more real to me. Like, oh, I could actually do something like this because there's a community here if I decided to move to Colombia. And then in Cartagena, I went on excursion as a solo person, but there were also other solo women in the group. And so one of the girls, we kind of stuck together the rest of the nights that I was in Cartagena. So I never really felt alone. So I know that people are very nervous, like, I don't want to go because I'm going to be alone. But trust me, there are many ways to meet people. And let's say you don't want to talk to nobody for the day. Then as a solo travel, you have that option to just be left on your own.
yeah, I feel like that is kind of something like me being an extrovert. I'm like, I want to talk to people. I want to see people. For some people who don't know, like, can you explain what an ex?
Okay, so an expat simply is somebody, let's say somebody is from the States and they move to a different country. That's really all what an expat is. They could be there, like I said, they could be owning their own business. Maybe they're teaching English. Maybe they're just traveling around. So yeah, that's basically all an expat is. It's kind of moving from one destination to another destination that you wouldn't consider or call home at the beginning time that you move there.
Oh, okay, because I've been hearing that word. Like some people do know this, some people don't know this, but I've like heard about it in the communities and different things like that. So I was just wondering for people who don't know, just solo travel. Yeah, that's really dope. Where's your favorite place that you've been
So
so
I get
far?
that question all the time, and I never can say that I have a favorite because I feel like each place is very unique. and they offer different things. But I must say that the place that I've been the most, so I don't know if you want to say it's my favorite, but the place that I've been the most is to Ghana, and that's in West Africa. Because that first trip that I took to study abroad, like I just had so much fun, and I was there for like 6 weeks, and I still wasn't ready to come home. So I've been
What?
back several times after that. And so I guess maybe we can consider it my favorite, but I really don't. I
Hmm.
never really answer that question when people ask me that question.
Well, speaking of Ghana, and there's this whole thing about the year of return that aren't you planning a trip to go to Ghana again? Do you go like every year or do you just like go some like every other year?
So I actually, when I first started going, I think I went in 2007 was the first time I went with the school. I went back in 2009, back in 2010, and then back in 2011. So it's actually been a very long time since I've been back, which is why I'm excited to go back and see people, that I've had or that I
Hmm.
met the first time I was there. So no, not every year. Just at that time, I seem
Oh.
to be going a lot. But
It's
initially,
okay.
I was taking this trip because I want to take my mom back. As many times as I've been to Africa, she has never went with me, so I feel like I finally convinced her to go, and now she's backed out of the trip. So I was like,
What?
okay, guess I'm not taking my mom, but I did tell some of my friends, and they were interested and they were on board. So I said, okay, let me see who wants to go back to Africa, because I feel like Africa, and I know Africa has 54 countries, but I'm going to say Africa as a whole, sometimes they have a negative connotation to it. And a lot of people don't want to
Hmm.
travel there. And so I just want to bring people to Africa to show them that they can have fun there, that there's not just poor people in huts and not starving children. Like there are bomb hotels, beaches, nightlife. There's the culture aspect. There's the food aspect. There's the clothing aspect. I love the clothes from Africa. So I just really want to show people what Africa is the way that they normally don't see it. And so the year of the
Hmm.
return, I believe it was the president kind of offered this thing like, hey, he wants the Americans to kind of come back, bridge the gap between the diaspora in Ghana. So yeah, I'm super, super excited to go. I'm planning a group trip. I don't foresee I'm going to have like a huge group. The group may be small, but I'm actually super, super okay with that, because to me, sometimes the smaller the better. Sometimes stuff gets mixed in translation with like a huge group. So I'm happy to take
Hmm.
a small group to Ghana this year.
Yes, well, that should be fun. My friend just went there, and everybody was talking about going. I was like, oh yeah, I don't know, but I really want to go to Ghana. Well, I really want to go to Ghana, South Africa, or Nigeria, like for my 25th birthday. Like next year, like that is my thing to go to Ghana. I want to go to Africa, whatever country in Africa. I want to do it by the time I'm 25. So I hope I reach that goal
Right. Well, yep. Just
to get
just start
to
planning
Africa.
now. So I've been to South Africa as well. I went to Howard University, woo woo, for HBCUs.
Okay.
And in my social work program, they take students back to South Africa every year. And at the time, I was the president of the Student Council of Social Work, so I automatically got a shoe in for the spot, which was great. And we went to Cape
Yeah.
Town. And so, South Africa, Cape Town is beautiful, beautiful. But if you go to South Africa, or if you can go to Africa, my vote is to go to Ghana. If you had to choose between the two, I would say go to Ghana first and then head over to South Africa. And me saying that by being to both, I just found the culture in Ghana and South Africa, Cape Town. I'm gonna say Cape Town because that's the only place I've been to. I didn't see a lot of native South Africans there, and I still
Hmm.
really could like I couldn't even see the like the clothes and stuff. Like in Ghana, you'll see the kente cloth like worn pretty much every day, even though they're westernized. In South Africa, I really didn't see that. And I felt like
Hmm.
home. Like when I got off the plane and it took 24 hours to get there, I felt like the city looked like back home. So I was like, wait, am I back home or I'm in South Africa? So I believe it's beautiful, and I believe people should go wherever they want to go. I definitely think if it's your first time on the continent, I definitely think Ghana is a good starting place. And then you go to Ghana, and then you go to South Africa, and then you compare the two.
Okay. Did you say it took you 24 hours to get to Ghana or South
South
Africa?
Africa.
Woo, baby. See, that's why I know if I could go because I could not do long flights like that. Woo. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. That's a whole nother
Ghana's in
conversation.
West Africa, so it's much closer to the tip. So if you're on the East Coast from DC, it takes 10 hours to get to Ghana, and then from DC to South Africa, yes, it took over 20 hours.
Oh my goodness, crazy. That oh my gosh, that's so crazy. So, well basically, so you got into the blogging, you're staying in the travel blogging. For people who like wanna be I guess like travel bloggers, like do you have any advice or like where to start and like or anything for them?
Um, so I would say for people that want to be bloggers, just know that it's not all about traveling. Like traveling is fun, but you have to come back and do the work behind the traveling. So I started off on WordPress. I still am on WordPress. So I would say focus on something we call SEO, and I don't even know the acronym for it. But SEO is basically like kind of where you would rank on Google. So those words that people look up when they're on the internet. So I didn't focus on SEO when I first started because I think I was just blogging just to be writing. So I'd say one, figure out do you want it to be a hobby or do you want it to make it like a career, and earn money, different things like that. Focus on your SEO because that's how you get views, and how you get views is how you can get money when it comes to affiliate links and ads and different things like that. I will also say join different Facebook groups, find people that are in your same network. I currently have two bloggers that we're accountability partners, and it really works out because you don't feel like you're alone, and you feel like somebody understands what you're going through. But yeah, blogging means writing, taking photos, actually putting it on the internet. Then that means you have to promote it. You may go into podcasting. You may do vlogging. You promote on social media. So there is a lot behind the scenes that I think people don't think about, or just be like, oh, I just want to be a travel blogger. So yeah, just know that it's cool, but
Yeah. Yes, that's me right now. I'm trying to do the work. And so I guess like a vision or goal, where do you see Tiffany's like in I guess like 5 years? Like what do you want your brand to be known for?
that's a good question. So Sweet Tiffy's inspirations is really the word inspiration is really the word inspire in there. And so my goal is really to inspire people to, I'm going to say it's a cliche, but kind of live their best life and live out whatever their goals are. So I love to travel, so that's my thing. But if traveling is not your thing, what is that one thing that you find that inspires you to do what you need to do? And sometimes we put limitations on ourselves, or we think we can't do it based off of just a bunch of different things. But I want to be that person to inspire you to go out and reach for those goals. So like Alicia, you say by next year I want to go to Africa. Okay, what steps are we going to do to ensure that happens? And in the future, or to go along with the question, for the 5 years, I definitely want to be a public speaker in this kind of realm, mixing travel with confidence, with self-esteem, with different things like that. So definitely see myself being a speaker. I say I don't want to write a book, but who knows what's in the future for that. And obviously having just like my own company with people behind it. I don't want to be just the only person running this. I want people underneath me. When I say people underneath me, that means people helping me to bring it to fruition in that way that I can touch more people than what I'm doing now, if that makes sense.
Yes. Well, do you want to tell them where you're going to be speaking at if they want to join you?
Yes. So in September 28th, there is a big festival called Audacity Fest, and it is ran by Nomadness Travel Tribe. And this particular event is for Black and brown people. And I say that, and you wonder, well, why is that so important? It's important because a lot of conferences that are held in the travel world, there are a lot of, I'm going to say, non-melanin people that dominate the industry. And so it was very important for No Madness to have this space for us that are in the travel community, because if people don't know it or not, there's just a big article, I don't know if it was CNN or somewhere, where they talk about how much Black and brown people are spending on travel. So if we are spending this
I
much on
just seen that.
travel, then we need
Hmm.
to know that we are here, we're here to stay, and we are all over the world as well. So I will be speaking on 3 different panels. I'll be speaking on the volunteer abroad panel because I've done a lot of volunteer traveling in the last year or so. Body positivity. You can't see me, but if you check out my pictures and stuff, I am a plus size woman. And solo travel, which I kind of talked about a little bit before. And so
Oh
yeah,
yeah, we didn't get
hopefully
to.
I want to see you guys out. It's in Memphis, Tennessee. We'll be at the Bill Street Landing. The conference is only on Saturday all day, but there's so many different panels. But you can join us with the VIP package Friday through Sunday for various events, including the conference. So hope to see you there.
Yes, I know. I'm so sad we didn't get to touch on volunteer abroad, but I definitely think that that is really important. When I studied abroad, we got to do like community service, community outreach, and I think it's so important to go and volunteer where you're going to be at, because well, some people see like the glitz and glams like that, but they don't see what's going on, or they don't get to be aware of what's going on in the community. And I think people should just go and see all the different parts of the country or city that they're visiting or
Absolutely.
traveling into.
Absolutely love to volunteer. I just came back from Spain, volunteering to teach English. And last year I was in the Virgin Islands, St. John to be specific, help building homes after the hurricane.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool, so dope. I want to thank you for coming on to the podcast and talking about traveling, just giving some people some inspiration, especially millennials. Like, they want to travel. Some people already do travel. Some people want to know, like, different ways to travel and stuff like that. So I just want to be able to shed some light on, some people of color who are traveling out here and doing the dang thing. So,
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
yes, thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day
You
or
too.
evening. All right, bye.
Bye bye.